The topic is evolutionary trends in early vertebrates, transition from water to land. This is nothing but how do the fishes evolved as the tetrapods and how they were journeyed towards the land. What are the changes take place in the fishes to make their journey possible towards the land? What are the changes in the what are the changes take place in the bones? What are the changes take place in the respiratory organs and the kidneys? Whatever it may be, the changes take place in the body of organs, because the spending life in the water is completely different from the life on land. What are the changes took place in the fishes, and how did they become successful to live on land? Already we have a discussion about these animals, crossopterygiae fishes, and another thing is there are some dipnoi fishes, are there lung fishes, Protapterus, Neoceratodus and Lepidosiris, which are living in different rivers in the Amazon, Congo and Darling River of Australia, Amazon River of South America. Those are the lung fishes. Three genus of lung fishes are living. These dipnoi fishes are called as the uncles of amphibians, uncles of tetrapods. So here already Latimeria is there, crossopterygiae, and dipnoi lung fishes are also there. But here the question is evolutionary trend. What are the evolutionary changes take place in the fishes to move on to the land? Our discussion is main this. Actually, this is approximately 370 million years ago. At the time of Devonian era, this evolution was started from the fishes were evolved as the amphibians or the tetrapods. So, what are the causes for this driving force? Why did the fishes were evolved as the tetrapods to live on land? Because there was environmental pressure. The evolutionary changes take place in the organisms due to evolutionary pressure. Whatever it may be, the evolutionary process. Either the protozoans become poriferans become as the cnidarians. Like that, the evolutionary trends are due to the force of environmental conditions. The environment is not stable. That can changes over 10 years or 100 years or 1000 years or 1 lakh years. The environment can change its nature, or its chemicals or physical factors or biological factors are changed in the environment. According to the changes take place in the environment, the organisms are also have to be evolved accordingly. So in the fishes, in the Devonian era, the fishes were faced with a number of problems. Because what is the problem of fish to evolve as the amphibians to live on land? The problem of the fish is main the water. The water may not present throughout the year, because in the summer season the water may be evaporated completely, the pond may be dried. At that time they cannot live. That is the problem of the fishes. And living in the water is somehow problematic, because the vision is very poor in the water, the hearing capacity is very poor in the water, so many enemies are present in the water. Like that, those are many environmental pressures are there. The main pressure is during the summer season, the water is being dried from the small ponds. The water become polluted or contaminated. That will become a mud water. It will become a less concentrated oxygen is available at that time, because the mud water do not allow the penetration of oxygen into it from the air. Due to these environmental pressures, the fishes were trying to move on land. While they are moving on land, they required 4 legs. Those are called the tetrapods. But this is not a simple process or not a sudden process. This is a gradual process. Many gradual changes took place in the body and they developed as the tetrapods. Small changes at a time, small mutations in the genetic makeup at a time, small changes will become as a big change. After millions of years, the fishes became as amphibians or tetrapods, and successfully they journeyed towards the earth. What was the journey? We will discuss about them. Now, adaptive features in early tetrapods. Early tetrapods, this is actually imaginary diagram that is created by the AI, but it is showing somehow tetrapodomorphs. Here the skeletal changes. What are the skeletal changes take place? This is very important thing, because the gravity in the water and the gravity on the land is different. The gravity in the water is very low. Land is very high. The gravitational force. The land pulls the animal very forcibly. The gravitational force is very high on the land compared to the water. The limbs and digits are developed from the fins. These are the fins. Fins became as the limbs and digits. The digits are very important because they have to creep on the land. And the neck, this is a very important adaptation took place in the animals which are going to be developed as the amphibians or tetrapods from the fishes. This is the neck region, this is the vertebral column, and this is the head region. Actually, this fish cannot move its head and eyes flexibly, cannot move flexibly. If it want to move any other direction, total body should move, because the neck is completely connected with the skull region, so it cannot move. But whereas on the land, while they are evolving, what happened? This neck region is becoming somehow independent from the skull. These vertebrae are somehow independent, and the pectoral girdle here, the pectoral girdle is there. This is our pectoral girdle. The pectoral girdle is separated or became independent from the skull. But whereas in the fishes, the pectoral girdle is completely innervated with the head region through this vertebrae. But whereas in this case, the pectoral girdle is became somehow independent, because due to the changes in the neck region, the skull is almost separated. Then what happens? That can move the tetrapods. The tetrapods can move their heads in any direction. They can identify the prey, they can identify the enemies, they can navigate on the land very easily, and due to the changes in pectoral girdle, and also the pelvic girdle also became very strong to live on land. And the skull became as a, here this is a more dicondylic skull. With the help of this dicondylic skull, they can extend their region, they can move their head region very flexibly, they can catch the prey very easily due to the presence of this dicondylic skull. Those are the changes took place in the bones. But respiratory organs, you can see the respiratory organs. These are the air sacs or swim bladders present in the fishes. In lungfishes, we found these air sacs. Those are developing as the lungs. These lungfishes can respire the gases from the air. Free oxygen is available on the land, in the air. But whereas in the water, the oxygen is completely dissolved in the water. Okay, however, the swim bladder became as the lungs in the lungfishes. Later development, the swim bladders can develop as the lungs in amphibians. This was the evolution of respiratory system in these animals. Sensory system, that is very important, because the fish in the water cannot see perfectly, because the water is not completely transparent. The eyes are not used to identify the prey, to identify the enemies very easily, and the hearing capacity is also very low. That's why the fishes were developed lateral line system in the water. Hearing capacity is very low, because the sound waves can move very slowly in the water than in the air, because the water can resist the movement of sounds. That's why, to protect themselves or to catch the prey, the fishes were developed the lateral line system in them. But the lateral line system is gone now, while they are moving towards the earth or towards the land. And the tympanum or eardrum is also developed in the animals while they are moving towards the land. The vision is not clear in the water, but it is very clear in the air. They can identify the prey, they can identify the enemy with easily. The eyes can move in all directions, and lateral line system is very well developed in the fishes to identify the vibrations in surrounding them. Either it may be the sound produced by the prey, or the sound may be produced by the enemies. But now there is no use of lateral line system while they are living on the land. That's why these were lost the lateral line system. And some of the physiological adaptations we will see here is water retention. Water retention is nothing but the maintenance of water balance in the body, because the living in water, just like the fishes, is very easy, because the more water is available in their surroundings. There is no problem of water. The mesonephric kidney is useful for them. But now, while they are living on the land, more water escape from the body through the evaporation. Then what happen? They have to conserve the water in their body. A well-developed glomerulus is present in their kidney, adapted to conserve the water in their body. And the osmotic regulation, this osmotic regulation is also maintaining the water balance along with the iron salts in the body. And in this table, once again, we can recapitulate it. The feature and the aquatic ancestor means the aquatic ancestors means what are the characters in the fishes, what are the characters changed in the tetrapods. Once again, we will see locomotion. The lobed fins in the aquatic ancestors means not complete fishes. For example, crossopterygia fishes or lung fishes, Protapteras, Neoceratodes, and the Lepidosirus fishes. These are the ancestors of tetrapods. What are the characters in the ancestors of the tetrapods? What are the characters developed in the early tetrapods? This locomotion. Lobed fins, for example, crossopterygia fishes, Latimeria, we found the lobed fins, but the lobed fins will become as the limbs and digits. And the respiration, gills and the swim bladder. But whereas in the fishes we can find only gills, but in the ancestors of early tetrapods, Latimeria and the dipnoi fishes, the swim bladder is also used to grab the oxygen from the surrounding environment. But later in the tetrapods, that will become as the duty is allotted to the lungs. Skeletal system, in the water the skeletal system is very weak, but whereas in the early tetrapods the strong vertebrae are developed due to the gravitational pressure. Pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle are becoming very strong, and the neck muscles are well developed. The neck is somehow separated, became independent from the skull. The skull became the dicondylic skull that can move its eyes very easily, that can move and catch the prey very easily due to the presence of dicondylic skull. And the sense organs are lateral line system and aquatic vision while they were living in the water, but now they become as the aerial vision and middle ear. And the skin is completely covered with the scales. Now the skin became as a moist and glandular skin in the amphibians or early tetrapods, which can obtain the oxygen from the surrounding environment very easily. The reproduction is aquatic eggs. They laid eggs in aquatic environment. Now while they become as the early tetrapods, still they lay eggs in the water. The frogs or salamanders can go visit the water to lay the eggs. But in later development, they become as reptiles. Those are completely adapted to live on land. They lay eggs on the land. But